welcome back to Finance with Sherry. Today we'll be talking all about budgeting. What is a budget, you might wonder? A budget is a plan for spending your hard-earned money. Many say that a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went at the end of the month. So, before we get started, grab a pen and paper and a copy of your bank statement. 1 month or 3 months would really suffice, and also a copy of your payslip. So, the reason why I'm saying a copy of your payslip, while being an advisor, I noticed that many people do not realize that there are actually a few deductions going off their payslips, excluding medical aid and pension fund and UIF. There are certain things that are going off that they forgot they actually agreed to some few years back. So bring your payslip along and let's have a look at that as well. So let's dive into our budget. Firstly, an income. This would be anything that adds a credit in your bank account. This would be your salary, your wages, if you are a weekly earner, or your commission, if you are a commission earner. Pretty simple, the money machine that fuels your life. This is your income. Moving on to your expenses. Expenses broken up into two categories. So you get your fixed expenses. These are things that would usually have a fixed amount for a certain duration of time. Some things like your rent, your car installment, your insurance policies, your gym account, the contract that you signed for 24 months because muscles need to be paid as well. That will also be a fixed expense as well. And then moving on to variable expenses. These are expenses that generally tend to change from month to month. Something like your groceries, because food prices are always increasing. Then your petrol as well, because even though we do budget for a certain amount of petrol, with all the increases happening recently, our petrol has also become pretty variable. And then there's things like airtime. For those that are not on a steady contract, we are always buying airtime within the month just to refuel our phones as well. So once you've tallied up your expenses, go through your bank statement and really see what is coming off. So once you've tallied it all up, subtract it from your income to get your net income. If you do still have some money left over, good for you. If you do not, now it's time to go back and tweak some of those expenses in order to actually prioritize some savings, emergency funds, and investing as well. So let's take our budget a step further. Let's look at our personal balance sheet, or your net worth, if you want to call it that. This consists out of assets and liabilities. So firstly, let's look at assets. An asset is something of economic value. So for most people, their home would be an asset. Your car, this would be the full amount if you were to sell your car today. What is the value of your car? If you have an investment account, what is the full amount in your investment account? And then there, I'm sure you can think of many other assets in your life that you currently have. For those that do not have many, now's the time to actually start thinking of assets that you can start accumulating. And then let's move down to our liabilities. So our liabilities are the things that is draining our lives. So things like loans, personal loans that you are paying off, your bond, the outstanding amount on your bond as well. These are the full outstanding amount of our debt. That evil word called debt. This is the full outstanding amount of our debt. So if you are paying off your car as well, the full outstanding on your car that is owing to the bank. I mentioned personal loans, retail accounts. This is the full amount that you're putting into your liability column. If you do want to take it a step further, call up these people and ask them what is the interest rate that they are charging you per month as well, so that you know more or less what is your most expensive debt that you're paying. So if your financial goal is to cut back on debt, then you have an idea of where to start or which debt to start attacking. Once you've accumulated those big balances over there in your liabilities, subtract them from your assets to get your net worth. Hopefully, your assets do outnumber your liabilities, but if not, you do know that this is an area that needs to be worked on as well. Here are 4 steps to help you stick to your budget. Point number 1. Keep the end goal in mind. Why are you budgeting? Remember that you have a financial goal that you want to achieve by using a budget. So put that goal somewhere that you can constantly see it and constantly be reminded of the end goal. Step number 2. Before purchasing something, take a moment to really think, will it have a lasting value, or is it just something that will satisfy me momentarily? Step number 3. Have boundaries and learn to say, no, it's not in my budget if you cannot afford it. You do not have to keep up with the Joneses. Nobody cares if you can afford or you cannot afford. You will be suffering if you are going to try to keep up with the Joneses. And lastly, treat yourself at small milestones. After 6 months, if you paid off at one of your debt, go to the shop and buy yourself a chocolate. Treat yourself with small treats, of course, not to break your budget. A budget, as simple as it may seem, is the first step to taking control of your finances and actually building up that financial foundation that we spoke about last week. So, hit like or dislike if you wish, subscribe, and please share. See you next week.